If you've been teaching yoga online or running an online business, or maybe you're about to start your online business, you might be wondering, what type of content can I give away for free? And what type of content should be paid? And how do I make sure that my free content doesn't undermine my paid stuff? If that's you and you've been wondering, what should I give away for free and what should I charge for? This video is going to show 5 types of content you should probably charge for and 4 types of content you can give away for free. And then at the end of the video, we are going to talk about why free content is even worth it. If no one's paying you for it, why would you invest your time, energy, and money into creating free content? Okay, let's get into the video. Okay, let's start with the 4 types of content you should give away for free. The first one is content that shares who you are as a person. So this type of content are things from your personal life, what you had for breakfast, what you do for hobbies, your unique interests, and your personality. If you are the face of your brand, which for most yoga teachers we are, just like I'm the face of my brand, people want to get to know you. So for example, some of the content that I share about who I am are things that I'm doing around the house or in the garden, or different things that I'm interested in. So you should absolutely give away free content that shares who you are. The second type of free content to give away is content that shares your philosophy and your approach. I don't have to tell you that there are a lot of yoga teachers out there, but what makes you unique? And don't worry about unique as no one has ever had this thought before or no one else does it like this. That's not at all what I mean. What I mean when I say unique is, what is your approach to teaching? Do you combine functional movement with fluid vinyasa? I don't know if those things go together. Maybe they do. Maybe you do it. But what is your approach? What parts of the practice do you emphasize? What parts of the practice do you not really focus on? What do you think is important? And how does that look when it actually comes to your teaching? This type of content that shares your philosophy and your approach, you can also share things that you believe in. So beliefs and values that are associated with you as a yoga teacher. So again, don't worry about being unique in the sense that no one has ever done it, because that's just not possible. Everybody's done everything, right? But if I were a student and I was looking for a different yoga teacher and I was looking for one that aligned with me, I would need to know your approach and your philosophy to the practice before I could make an informed decision. So the second type of content to give away for free is content that shares your philosophy and your approach. Now, I should say, before I go any deeper, when I say content, I mean social media content and also long form content, videos, blogs, and podcasts. Okay, number 3, the third type of content to give away for free are general solutions to your ideal students' problems. Another way to think about this is general answers to your ideal students' questions, right? So if you are to think about the students that you interact with, what do they struggle with? What are their issues? What are their problems? What are their questions? If I were you, I would keep a database of that. So whenever you have a conversation with a student, whenever you're in the chat in Zoom after class and you're like talking, pay attention to the questions that you get asked, the struggles that your students have, the problems that they have. I would say a bulk of your free content should be creating content that solves your ideal client or student's problems, or addresses their frustrations, or answers their questions. That's what this video is. The reason that I'm creating this video is a lot of my clients ask, what should I give away for free? What should I charge for? And if I'm giving all that stuff away for free, why would anyone buy my stuff, right? So the reason why I'm creating this video is it's a general solution to my ideal students and clients' questions or problems. So think about what your students struggle with and create content that solves their problems or answers their questions. I do that all the time. It's super fun. It's really great to have something to go on when you're creating content. You're like, what should I talk about? Just answer your students' questions or answer or solve their problems. And we're going to talk more about this in the next part, the stuff that you should pay for. But remember, these are general solutions. Cool? Okay, number 4, the last type of content that I think you should give away for free are short versions of your paid stuff. So let's say that you teach full-length yoga classes and you charge for them, which you probably should be doing. You could give away the best 15 or 20 minutes of that class, like a snippet of it, and pop it on YouTube as a free class. It's only a short class because the whole class was maybe 60 minutes or 75 minutes, and you're just giving away a short version of the paid product. So when you do that, it gives people a taste. It gives people an experience of what it is like to practice with you before they do your paid class. You can think about it another way. Let's say you do an online course that is for beginners yoga, and you could give away a free full-length class on an intro to yoga, right? So it's a short version of the longer thing that you do that people actually need to pay for. I do this sometimes when I do Instagram lives. A thing that people pay me for is to get together in a group and get on a live Zoom call. I choose a topic and I give a presentation or a class or a lecture on that topic, and then we have time for questions and answers afterwards. When I do an Instagram live, it's also live. There's a group of students and I talk on a particular subject, and then we have questions and answers after. So the people who come to those lives, maybe you've been to one. If you haven't, check out my Instagram page at Cora. I do them quite often, so you'll see me there and you can check in with what it's like to be on a live with me. And once you've been on a live with me, it gives you a little bit of a taste of what it would be like to be in my class. So there you have it, the 4 types of content I think you should give away for free. Content that shares who you are as a person. Content that shares your philosophy or your approach to whatever it is you do, probably teaching yoga. Content that solves problems for your ideal students or clients. Remember, they're generalized solutions that you're providing. And number 4, short versions of what you do in a paid product. Okay, before we go any further, I need to share this week's winner of and it's a practice tote. It's very hard to see because I can't go further away from the camera, but here you go. This week's winner of, it's really nice. It's got like a wide thing so you can put a lot of your stuff in there. But this week's winner is Kath Brown. Go you, Kath. Kath commented on last week's video, "Hey Cora, I'm going to start with number 1. She was referring to my absolute favorite business book, Free to Focus. I started teaching at 23 too, and before that I was a student and worked in cafes. I shared that I started teaching yoga at 23 and used to work in bars and nightclubs. So Kath and I have a very similar story. If you want to enter to win one of these really cute tote bags, all you need to do is comment below this video. And every week I pick from our podcast reviews and our YouTube comments, and I select my favorite comment and give them one of these very cute tote bags. So Kath, congratulations. Send us an email at support@coragiroux.com with your postal address, and your tote will be in the mail ASAP. Okay, now that we've talked about those 4 things that you might want to give away for free, here are 5 things that I think you should probably be charging for. Number 1 is any kind of personalized advice. So if you remember back to the last section where I said give general solutions to your ideal client's questions or problems, well, if your students want you to give specific personalized advice about their situation, that should probably be paid, right? And it makes sense. If you're going to take the time to go through someone's specific situation, That's a lot of investment on your part. But if you do that, your student or your client will get a better result, right? So it's win-win. So for example, let's say you had a client or a student saying, hey, I have these problems when I do your group class. You're like, okay, cool, no worries. I think I could probably serve you really well in a private. We could look at all the different poses. We could look at how to modify. And then once you've done that private, you can hop back into general class, and your modifications will probably help you out, right? So you could look at it that way. Same thing if people are asking you for specific, personalized advice on your Instagram. You should probably say, hey, we can talk about that, but here's a link to book a session. So there are always caveats, but for the most part, the first thing that people should probably be paying you for and you should be charging for is personalized service or personalized advice. The second thing that you should probably be charging for is to provide accountability. So for a lot of us, the biggest thing that stands in between us and achieving our goals is simply showing up. And you'll know this if you've ever found it easier to go to a yoga class or to go to see your trainer than it is to go to the class by yourself or practice by yourself at home rather, and just go to the gym and work out by yourself. So accountability is something that people will pay for. So if there is a way that you can create accountability within your paid offerings, know that that is something really valuable and that people will pay for it, and you probably shouldn't give it away for free. The third thing that you should probably be charging for is access to you. So if people are writing you emails or sending you messages on your Instagram and wanting to connect with you and pick your brain, people should probably be paying for that. Same thing if there's anything that you're doing live. For the most part, people should pay for that. Now, there are exceptions to that, and it can be a good marketing tool to do free live events at some points, but you want to think about it strategically. But usually, if people have access to you, that is something they will pay for. You know, I am a part of 2 online communities, which I'll reference a little bit further on in the video. But one of the big things that I get out of those communities, they're paid communities, they're about $50 a month each, is that I get to get on a live Zoom call with each one of those creators. And there's people who I admire, there are people who I look up to. So I'm happy to pay to have access to them that I wouldn't get if I wasn't in their paid products. Yo, it's future Cora. When I was editing this video, I realized that my number 4 didn't save. So here we are. So the fourth thing that people will totally pay you for is a kick-ass community. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm actually a part of 2 online communities. One is an astrology community and one is a functional health, functional medicine community. There's a little insight into my personality right there. So these 2 creators that I love their approach, I love their philosophy, which I learned about through their free content. And I pay to be part of their community. For some of the other things that we've already touched on, like access to them, we get free live, or not free, but I pay for them in the membership, Zoom calls and things like that. But one of the big things that I pay for is that I can connect with other people who have similar interests, even if no one in my actual life cares about those two things. So I get to talk to people about stuff that I'm interested in. I get to talk about the transits that are happening in astrology. I get to post photos of my food and people actually care what I'm eating. So if you can create a community of like-minded people from all over the world or even local to where you are, people are totally willing to pay for that. Now, of course, you can give that away for free with like a free Facebook group or something like that. But when people pay to be in a community, the caliber of that community is generally a lot higher. So you don't get, any of that riffraff or, and honestly, one of the reasons why I pay to be in those communities is that it's not like social media. You can connect with people on social media, but people can be jerks on social media. And in both of those communities, there's a set of guidelines that people adhere to, and it's a really nice place to hang out online. So the fourth thing that you can charge for is a curated, like-minded community. People will totally pay for that. Number 5, if you can provide an organized step-by-step plan, you should totally be charging for that. And there are loads of people who will pay for it. So the coolest thing about the time that we live is that you can learn anything you want on the internet for free. That means if you have the time and wherewithal to sift through large amounts of information that is not organized in any way, then you can learn what you want to learn. However, for most people, they will happily pay for you to put the information they want to learn into an organized step-by-step plan. Take my business, for example. Business information is out there for free anywhere you want to look for it. However, I've created a series of steps that people go through to launch their own business successfully, because you need to get the first couple of steps right before it makes sense to do the next ones. And you might not know that just from searching information on podcasts or blogs or YouTube channels like this one. So those are the 5 things that people will totally pay for, and that if you are giving them away for free, have a think about how those fit into your business plan and could you be charging for them? Okay, so now that we've looked at the 4 types of content to give away for free and the 5 types of content that you should probably be charging for, you might be wondering, hey, why would I not just make the paid stuff? This is the business. Why would I bother with any of the free stuff anyway? Why would I create for free? Well, here's something that I suggest you write down, or you take a mental note, or you scribble it on your hand somewhere so that you remember it. Community follows content, and sales follow community. That's an important one. Write it down, make a mental note. This is the reason that free content is so valuable for your business. So before anyone makes a purchase with you, they need to know who you are, they need to like what you do, and they need to trust you. And your free content helps people go through those phases before they are ready to purchase with you. And if you don't have that free content, your community might not be able to get to know you, like you, or trust you, and therefore sales stay low. Okay, so let's unpack each one of those and learn how free content allows you to provide those 3 essential things for your community. The first one is people have to know you exist, right? Your free content makes you visible and discoverable on the interwebs. What do I mean by that? Well, if you create a great piece of free content, then chances are someone will share it. It might be just your mom.com at first, but once someone that you know and love shares your content, if it's good, if it's valuable, other people will start to share your content as well. However, if you didn't actually have a piece of content, like a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel or something like that, even like a really good Instagram can pass, you won't get past that first degree of separation. So people that you know personally and love you may share your stuff, but then people who don't know you personally won't continue to share it unless it provides them value. Now, this is a topic for another video, but your content can also help you show up on search engines like YouTube or Google or in an podcast directory or even like the search through Instagram, right? So people who don't know you can discover you through your content. They get to know you exist. The next thing that your free content does is it helps people understand if they like you or not, if they like you, your content, and your business. Now, don't freak out. It's not high school. It's not a popularity contest. We're not trying to appeal to everyone, right? So what happens when someone decides if they like you? Well, 2 things. The first one is just, is your content a good fit for them? Are you answering questions that are relevant to them? Do they find your information helpful? Are they a good fit for what you're doing? Or are you a good fit for them? The second is, do they like your mannerisms, the way you deliver information, the way that you use examples? Do you resonate with them? You know, I have a couple of podcasters that I like. When I've shared them with friends, they're like, ew, no. And it's the delivery that they're not into, right? So is it a good fit? And then how do you feel about the delivery? Now, here's just a tip. There's nothing you can do about it. Just be yourself when it comes to delivery, right? You don't need to put on a persona. You don't need to like do anything to be more likable. It's just who you are. Some people will like it and some people won't. And we just have to accept that. Cool? Number 3 is your free content will help people trust you, or it will help you earn the trust of your community. So simple things, just like showing up on a regular schedule, can really help people learn to trust you, or it can help you earn their trust. Think about it just like a personal relationship, right? If someone didn't show up when you were supposed to show up, you would probably trust them a little bit less. So simply putting out content on a consistent basis, showing up consistently over time can help you earn the trust of your community. Also, things like admitting when you're wrong or being not afraid to say, I don't know, are also ways that you can help earn the trust of your community. So your free content is so worthwhile. I'll give you a tip. At least 40% of my business comes from my long form content. The other 60% comes from social media. That may have shifted and changed in the last couple of months, but about a year ago, I pulled my paid community, and that's how people found me, right? So without my podcast, I would be missing 40% of my people. Without my Instagram, I'd be missing 60% of my paid clients. Where would the rest come from? Okay, so in summary, the 4 types of content you should probably give away for free are content that shares who you are, your approach and your perspective on what you do, content that solves general problems for your community, and short versions of what you do in your paid offerings. 5 things that people will probably pay for and you should probably be charging for are personalized, specific information and advice, accountability, a kick-ass community, access to you, and an organized step-by-step plan. Your free content gets people ready for your paid content through the know, like, and trust factor. Now, if you're still on the fence about creating free content, there's one final thing I will share with you. You might be thinking, if I create all that free content though, will they even need my paid content? There will be some people who can get results from your free content. And if that is you and you're using my content like that, go you, right? Like I am all for that. If you can get results from my free content, that's my goal. I hope that you can. And I would suggest that you maybe take on that same attitude for your free content. However, most people will need one of those 5 things in order to get results, or multiple ones of those 5 things in order to get results. That's why in my program, Lost to Launch, we have included all 5, right? We give personalized feedback. You get lots of access to me. You get accountability through an accountability buddy and through our regular calls. You get an organized step-by-step plan, and you get a kick-ass community. So I would suggest that your free content is one of the most valuable things that you can do for your business. And I hope this video was helpful in helping you understand what should be free and what should be paid. Okay, I will see you next week.